It's very, very clear and apparent that something has to be done in the WNBA. We are ready to get into the second half of the season, but thus far, the first half of the season has been filled with negative drama.
Cathy Engelbert is clearly in over her head. That single brutal assessment tells you exactly where things stand with the WNBA today. Something has to be done. Not something that should happen, not something that might. It has to happen now. Hearing that raw urgency makes it obvious we are way past polite suggestions. The league is staring down an absolute crisis. And the woman steering the ship, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, is completely losing her grip on the narrative, the players, and the trust of those who matter most.
Time Adam Silver is about to step in. The signs have been pointing that way. He clearly inserted himself on the Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas thing, which tells you the commissioner doesn't have a real pulse on it. And the lack of professionalism that has been shown on the court and off the court throughout the first half of the WNBA season can't really continue.
Those are not my words. That is how insiders are describing the wild first half of the 2024 season. Here is the truly damning part. This moment was supposed to be the league's grand triumph. Caitlin Clark landed as the most hyped rookie ever. Television ratings are shattering records, and suddenly the mainstream sports world is actually paying attention. Instead, the league spent 4 months tripping over its own feet, manufacturing drama, and letting petty feuds overshadow the actual game. That is a massive failure of leadership at the very top.
The next minute, she's on a minutes restriction. The minutes restriction never comes off. Then she's off. I mean, it's just been a circus. All of the brutal attacks, all of the negative, nasty things that have happened throughout the league early on that is kind of taken away from the spotlight of some good basketball. And I don't think that this league can continue this way. It needs to actually perform like a professional business, which is why Adam Silver has already inserted himself. He's already stepped in.
He has already stepped in to manage the Cathy Engelbert and Caitlin Clark situation. This is the real core of the issue. Caitlin Clark's back injury quickly became a glaring example of everything wrong with the league's daily operations. 1 minute she is playing regular game time, and the next she is on a sudden restriction that nobody bothers to explain. The limits stay, then they suddenly vanish, her performance slips, and absolutely nobody from the league or the Fever can offer a coherent timeline or explanation. Now compare that to how the NBA reports injuries, detailed updates, constant communication, and absolute transparency. Next to them, the WNBA looked totally amateur. And when you are trying to convince major TV networks and big sponsors you are world-class amateur hour fails, yet that injury chaos was merely a symptom of a deeper disease, namely the brutal physical targeting Caitlin endured all season long. The Kennedy Carter body check, Alyssa Thomas gesturing at her throat, the constant physical targets. Through all of this, Commissioner Engelbert seemed completely paralyzed, failing to take decisive action to protect her league's biggest star and absolute best asset.
Gonna be full-fledged monitoring things. You see they have the NBA replay center coming now. It's a lot going on, man. Cathy's not built for this. And we got to get into this article in the New York Times because it's saying, yeah, Cathy has brought some level, the business is thriving, but why can't she escape criticism? For one, the business we all know is only thriving because of the arrival of Caitlin Clark. But this business won't continue to thrive with the way it's being run. Really think about it. We have an entire couple airing each other out.
This is the actual smoking gun, proving that Adam Silver has officially stepped in to intervene. He did not just bring up the Alyssa Thomas situation casually during a quick press event. The man was directly inside the disciplinary loop. Consider the weight of that action. The NBA commissioner personally pushed himself into a WNBA disciplinary issue. That never happens unless the WNBA commissioner has lost control so completely that the parent company is forced to step in to save the brand. Silver was not subtle about it either. When asked outright at the CNBC Game Plan Summit, he offered a classic political dodge. He said he would not comment on that because it would not be fair to Caitlin or to Cathy. The translation, yes, he was involved. Yes, it was absolutely serious enough to demand his attention. And yes, the very fact that he had to step in tells you everything about the absolute failure of WNBA leadership. He shielded Engelbert in public while completely stripping away her power just by acknowledging the situation.
That is like a normal thing. And Adam Silver is going to see to it to put an end to all of this nonsense. Let's take a look at this here. Bro, we can have cheating being aired out in the WNBA. Oh, me and you were boyfriend and girlfriend. You slept with two of your teammates. Oh, no, you slept with one of my teammates. Bro, this looks crazy. This shit don't look professional. This is terrible. Take a look at this here, man. Courtesy of the New York.
Now we have to address the dating drama because it highlights another staggering lack of professional standards under Engelbert. The messy fallout between Dejanai Carrington and Alyssa Smith, where their relationship drama and rumored cheating became public gossip on social media, would be completely unthinkable in any other major pro league. It is not that athletes do not date. It is that real organizations set hard boundaries, demand professional conduct, and punish players who drag the league through the mud online. Most Fortune 500 companies require employees to disclose workplace relationships to human resources to stop these exact public disasters. Yet, the WNBA has absolutely no structure, no enforcement, and zero professional standards under Engelbert's watch. Athletes treat the league like a cheap reality show, and their
remains too hot for most to handle. While The Athletic spoke to a dozen sources around the league for this story, all almost refused to comment for publication, even anonymously. What they did do is provide a holistic view of the situation that Engelbert and the WNBA now finds itself in. And these are some of the reasons that Adam Silver has had to insert himself, and he's going to see to get an end to all of this nastiness that's going on.
A recent piece by the New York Times is devastating because it reveals something critical. Insiders within the WNBA are actually terrified to speak openly about this massive leadership crisis. Reporters spoke to 12 different sources across the league, and nearly everyone refused to comment even on background. Let that sink in. We are talking about team executives and league staff with direct knowledge, yet they are so scared of blowback that they refuse to give simple anonymous quotes to a major national outlet. That kind of fear and silence is never normal in a healthy workspace. It points directly to a toxic culture where speaking up power has consequences, or maybe it is just a situation so politically fraught that nobody wants to point out the obvious. Either way, it is a damning indictment of Engelbert's leadership style and the organizational culture she has created.
Make a move, we should make a move, said one high-ranking team official speaking anonymously to protect existing relationships. If not, we need some leadership. And the leadership is the real problem, guys. That's the real problem. This league has a lack of leadership. They need to get a grown man, a male in there that is not being worried about feelings and this and that, that's going to do what's best for business. And that's leaning into the stars. And
here is the real kicker from an anonymous team official. If we are going to make a move, make a move. If not, we need some leadership. That is hardly a ringing endorsement of the commissioner. It is a high-ranking team official basically admitting they are stuck in limbo. Either fire her or give her real power, because this middle ground where she has the title but no respect is killing us. This leadership vacuum is the real crisis. The WNBA has never seen this kind of growth, attention, or massive opportunity, yet nobody is in charge, nobody is making the hard decisions, and nobody is establishing clear standards and actually enforcing them. No one is protecting the league's assets or managing its public image. When you have a vacuum during rapid growth, chaos fills the void. and chaos is exactly what we have right now. Calling for a grown man, a male leader who does not worry about feelings is obviously controversial. But let us be honest about what that statement actually means. It is not about gender. It is about decisiveness, making unpopular calls, and prioritizing business success over personal relationships and internal politics. Whether that leader is male or female does not matter. What matters is finding someone who can finally establish order, enforce standards, and make the tough decisions that Engelbert has consistently failed to make.
Adam Silver appointed Engelbert in 2019, giving her commissioner title no previous WNBA permanent leader had possessed. It was a testament to her CV, highlighted by a stint as the CEO of Deloitte, a multinational business consulting firm. Okay. It says, but the WNBA's Board of Governors' lack involvement regarding Engelbert's hiring has led to question who exactly she reports to. Throughout her tenure, there have been moments that point to Silver's explicit involvement in business decisions, a number of them occurring in the last year. Okay. Here says Silver acknowledged that while he hadn't been at the bargaining table of the contentious WNBA CBA negotiations, he was playing a role behind the scenes. More recently, he reportedly involved the disciplinary process. He was involved in the disciplinary process.
The irony of Engelbert's situation is painful. She stepped into this role with an incredible resume, CEO of Deloitte, one of the world's absolute largest consulting firms. On paper, she was precisely what the WNBA needed: corporate credibility, a grasp of complex business operations, and the ability to speak to sponsors and television executives. Adam Silver personally appointed her in 2019 and gave her the commissioner title, something no previous WNBA leader ever had. It was supposed to signal a new era of professionalism, but here is what that corporate Deloitte experience did not prepare her for: managing personalities, handling live controversies, making split-second discipline decisions, and navigating a league that sits right at the chaotic intersection of sports, social justice, and gender politics. Running a corporate consulting firm is about process, analysis, and building consensus. Running a sports league is about being decisive, managing massive egos, and accepting that sometimes you must make people unhappy to do what is right. The confusion over who Engelbert actually reports to is another massive red flag. The WNBA Board of Governors' silence regarding her performance has created this bizarre setup where she is supposedly in charge, but Adam Silver keeps stepping into major decisions. That is not sustainable. Either she is the commissioner with full authority and accountability, or she is not. Right now, she is stuck in a weird middle ground where she has responsibility but zero power, the worst possible position for any executive.
Like, put the business first. Like, this whole dating, like this Melissa Smith, DJ Carrington thing is a bad look. It's bad for business. A lot of this stuff is bad for business, man. And until they got to get somebody in there that can get a grip on this thing, and like, it actually needs to be run professionally now. You have a worldwide international superstar in Caitlin Clark. This is the opportunity for you to legitimize as a league. What was pulled at All-Star Weekend, that trash game the last 2 years, somebody's got to step in and get this thing fixed. Someone has to step in and get this thing fixed, okay?
That All-Star Weekend disaster says everything you need to know about Engelbert's tenure. Picture her standing at center court in Barclays Center right after the Liberty beat the Aces in the Commissioner's Cup. She takes the microphone to congratulate the team, and the crowd boos her so loudly her voice is completely drowned out. The fans, the very people fueling this rapid growth, are openly shouting their contempt for the league's leadership on national television. That does not happen in a vacuum. Fans boo commissioners for specific reasons, because they make decisions that ruin the fan experience, because they fail to protect the players fans love, and because they let the league turn into a circus instead of a professional organization. Engelbert earned those boos through months of hesitation, bad communication, and a complete failure to establish basic professional standards. And it was not the first time The booing is a pattern now, meaning this is not just one angry fan base. It is a systemic loss of confidence from the core audience. When your own fans are actively rooting against you, you have lost the room. And once you lose the room, getting it back is almost impossible. So where does the WNBA go from here? That is what really matters as we head into the second half of the season and look toward 2025. The league is at a crossroads. It can either capitalize on this moment of massive growth or squander the entire opportunity through constant chaos and leadership failures. Adam Silver stepping in is a double-edged sword. He brings immediate credibility, decisiveness, and decades of experience running the most successful basketball league in the world. His intervention in the Alyssa Thomas situation likely saved them from an even bigger public relations disaster. His quiet work behind the scenes likely kept the collective bargaining talks from completely falling apart. But every single time Silver steps in, it chips away at Engelbert's authority and makes it harder for her to establish real credibility. The big question the WNBA Board of Governors has to answer is simple. Do they believe Cathy Engelbert can grow into this job, or have the last 5 years proven she is not the right fit? Because this moment demands something special. The WNBA has never seen this level of mainstream attention, corporate backing, or potential for explosive, massive growth. Caitlin Clark's arrival is a once-in-a-generation chance to fundamentally transform the league's business model and cultural relevance. But seizing that kind of moment takes real steel, strong leadership, a crystal clear vision, and the guts to make hard calls fast. It takes someone willing to set real professional standards and actually enforce them, even if that means punishing fan-favorite players or making moves that anger loud critics. You need a leader who can handle the messy politics of a league sitting right where sports, social justice, gender equality, and entertainment collide without letting one agenda swallow the core goal of playing great basketball and building a business. Has Engelbert actually shown she can do that? Honestly, the evidence says no. We have seen chaotic injury reports, inconsistent fines, and players airing personal drama online. We saw a failure to protect the league's most valuable asset from brutal physical targeting and constant communication breakdowns. These are not minor slips. They are the clear signs of a commissioner who is completely underwater. Look at Adam Silver in the NBA. When he took over from David Stern back in 2014, he faced an immediate, massive crisis, the Donald Sterling scandal. Within just days, Silver investigated the tape, held a press conference, banned Sterling for life, and forced him to sell the Clippers. It was fast, it was clear, and it sent a massive message about the standards and values of his league. That is how strong leadership looks. So, what is Engelbert's defining moment? What major call has she made that actually set the tone for this league? Honestly, there is not a single one. Instead, we get constant hesitation, double talk, and a pattern of letting things boil over until someone else has to step in. The messy dating drama is especially revealing because it shows a total lack of any professional standards. Any well-run sports league would have strict conduct policies, social media rules, and real penalties for dragging the brand down. Players would understand that while their private lives are their own business, once those personal issues become public circus acts that overshadow the game, the league has to step in. But under Engelbert, there is no plan. Players seem to think they can air relationship drama online, fight publicly with teammates, and face zero professional consequences for any of it. That is not how you run a pro sports league. That is how you run a trashy reality show. Sure, reality television brings quick attention and clicks, but it is a terrible way to build long-term credibility and real business value. Media relations are another place where Engelbert has completely failed to set proper boundaries. The bad blood between players and certain reporters is downright toxic. Instead of managing this professionally, the league has let it rot in public view. Beat writers are just doing their jobs, reporting on injuries or roster cuts, yet players react with open hatred and personal attacks. This dynamic is toxic for everyone. It is the commissioner's job to set boundaries so both sides can work together professionally. Heading into the second half of the season, something has to change. The current situation cannot last. If Engelbert stays in charge, she needs real, clear authority, and she must be held accountable for bringing order. That means the Board of Governors has to either support her completely or fire her. This half-hearted setup where Adam Silver has to keep stepping in is not working. If the board chooses to make a change, they must find someone with both sharp business sense and sports industry experience. A leader who understands the special challenges of women's sports without using gender as an excuse for low standards or sloppy behavior. The WNBA deserves to be treated like the major professional sports league it wants to be, not like a side hustle or social experiment. The stakes are massive. Caitlin Clark's rookie year has opened a golden window of opportunity, but it will not stay open forever. New fans who tuned in for the Clark hype are only going to stick around if the actual product feels professional, if the news is about basketball instead of reality television drama, and if the league proves it wants to win their attention. Every week of constant chaos is another week where new fans walk away deciding this is not worth their time. Corporate sponsors are keeping close watch too. They want to invest in women's sports, but only in organizations that run things like a professional business, in groups that protect corporate brand values and show real long-term growth. Right now, this chaos is making sponsors very nervous. They are starting to wonder if this boom is real or just a brief bubble that pops once the novelty fades. The players deserve better than this. Most of these athletes are true professionals who show up, play hard, and behave with real class. But they are being completely overshadowed by a loud minority because a massive leadership vacuum allows cheap drama to steal the headlines. These athletes deserve a commissioner who protects the sport and ensures that actual basketball talent is celebrated rather than nasty social media feuds and relationship drama. So, what is Adam Silver's next move? He needs to launch a full review of the league's operations, leadership, and core business structure. Hire outside experts, speak with team owners, run anonymous player surveys, and get a completely honest answer on whether current leadership can handle this explosive growth. If they can, then give Engelbert full power and hold her feet to the fire for real measurable improvements. If the answer is no, pivot fast. Make the change early enough for new leadership to settle in before the 2025 season starts. The absolute worst option is letting this limbo drag on. Nobody is really in charge. Engelbert has the title but zero authority, while Silver keeps stepping in to prevent complete disasters. That's